Next call for Hugh Hewitt, Jacksonville Beach, Florida, Democrat. You're on the air.
Good morning. Hugh, they used to carry your show here in Jacksonville on a 50,000 watt station that the circumference of that station would attract 2 million voters, or 2 million listeners, I should say. And they dropped you and Michael Medved the same day. And we refer to it around here as hate radio. That station is just, they never attract over 2,000 listeners at one time at any given moment. They eventually put you over on time delay at night. And you had, I think, less than 200 listeners there, according to a survey done in the paper. But, you know, you right-wing radio people's days are over with the average person. We're well aware of your hate spewing you do against strictly Democrats, and it's all over but the crying. Read the polls. It's all over but the crying. Good morning, you.
Good morning to you. I do regret that they had a format change in Jacksonville and we lost our Jacksonville audience. But you still pick me up in Orlando and Tampa, Sarasota, Pensacola, 120 stations across the United States. They're all listed at HughHewitt.com. And the good news for people of the great city of New York is that we go up in New York in August. It's the 6th or 7th most listened to radio show in the United States. And I'm glad that it's growing, not falling. And I think that, in fact, center-right conversation of the sort I do. For example, 8 consecutive weeks with E.J. Dionne, the wonderful left-of-center liberal columnist for the Washington Post, about his book, Sold Out, isn't hate talk at all. It's a conversation about the most important issues. And, in fact, the characterization of conservative talk radio as hate talk is always a giveaway that the left doesn't really want to engage on the issues, because if you talk about these issues, if you talk about the appeasement policies of Senator Barack, if you talk about the don't-drill Democrats and their indifference to the cost of gasoline and the toll it's taken on middle-class America, Americans note this. It's a fundamentally center-right country. And I do not doubt for a moment that a lot of the left wing wants to silence conservatives on the radio. They want to silence, they don't exist in network television, so they don't want them to go there. But it's not going to work, because I think ultimately the folks who listen and hear and are persuaded by a comprehensive, collegial, a civil conversation as such as happens on conservative talk radio every single day want to keep it there.
Would you agree with that caller, though, that some conservative talk shows may be hate radio or over the top?
I defend Salem Radio Network. That's who I work for. We start with Bill Bennett in the morning. We follow that with Dennis Prager, Michael Medved, and myself, and Mike Gallagher in some markets around the country, all of them committed to the highest standards of civil conversation. All of them highly educated individuals. I mean, Dr. Bennett's got his Ph.D. and his law degree. Medved and I are lawyers. Dennis Prager's been teaching at university level for many, many years. We do a lot of extensive conversations with authors of left, right, and center. I just had on James Rosen for an entire show on his book about John Mitchell, the strong man. Extraordinary book. And I'm happy to debate the left at any time, provided that it's civil. It's not shout radio. And so I think it's very, very important that the American people who don't listen to conservative talk radio not take their opinions from the net roots and the nut roots, but to listen to the actual conversation. The single greatest communicator, there are 2 in America right now. One is Oprah, the other is Rush. They do a better job with more people than anyone else. They have the largest unified audiences in America. There's a reason. They're good at what they do, communicating. Those of us right below them also work at communicating. And I got a lot of lefties who listen, a lot of Obama fans who call up and argue with me, and that's good. The conversation is important, but I think the left hates the fact when we come down to issues and facts, like the drilling controversy. It's simply a fact that Democrats don't care what people are paying at the pump. They talk a good game, but they're not doing anything to allow the production capacity to increase, and they come up with these nonsense talking points about leased land that isn't being used, stuff that just doesn't make a lot of sense. It's very important for the American people to tune into the conversation as they will in the fall, because this election, the stakes are extraordinarily high.